All right, let's just jump right in. If you're a founder, you know that payroll is one of those things that just has to get done. But let's be honest, every single minute you spend on it feels like a minute you're not spending building your actual company. And in today's economic climate, that's not just an annoyance, it's a serious, serious liability. And here's why this is so critical right now. A huge 86% of business leaders are saying that economic uncertainty is their #1 challenge. When things are this unpredictable, efficiency stops being a buzzword and it becomes your survival strategy. And for founders, one of the biggest, leakiest holes in the ship is almost always manual payroll. It's just this constant, nagging drain on your most valuable assets, your time, your focus, and your energy. And this really puts a number on the pain. We are talking 10 to 20 hours every single month, even for pretty small teams. For about a third of companies, it chews up over 35% of all their HR efforts. I mean, that is a massive chunk of time that you could be using to talk to customers, ship product, or, raise money. But honestly, losing time is just the tip of the iceberg. The real danger with manual payroll is buried in all the hidden costs and the huge compliance risks that, frankly, most founders just completely underestimate until it's too late. I mean, let's just rattle off the list, right? You're calculating pay, you're trying to manage multi-state tax laws, you're filing quarterly 941s, you're dealing with W-2s for employees and 1099s for contractors, you're registering in every new state you hire someone, and then you're trying to figure out these cryptic tax notices. As you grow, this stuff doesn't just add up, it multiplies exponentially. And here is the bottom line. Every single one of those manual steps is a landmine. It's an opportunity for a mistake. And these aren't just, hypothetical mistakes. The data on this is, well, it's pretty shocking. So get this, in 2024, nearly 70% of companies reported having issues with their payroll data. Think about that. That means it's actually more common to have errors than to not have them. That's the baseline. And those errors, they have very real consequences. Over 82 million American workers, just let that number sink in for a second, have had their paychecks messed up. That is a direct blow to your team's morale and their trust in you. And if that doesn't get your attention, maybe this will. This shows the financial risk in plain sight. More than half of all companies, 53%, have been hit with penalties for noncompliance in just the last 5 years. These are not edge cases. This is the norm when you're doing things by hand. So, okay, the answer is automation, right? Well, yes and no. This is the part where a lot of founders get tripped up. There is a massive difference between software that just claims to be automated and a system that actually puts your payroll on autopilot. You see, most payroll software is what I like to call fake automation. It's like they sold you a plane with a bigger, more complicated cockpit. Sure, there are lots of buttons, but you're still the one who has to enter all the data, file all the forms, and deal with the IRS. What you actually need is true autopilot, where the system handles literally everything, from automatically registering you in new states to proactively resolving tax notices for you. And this quote from a customer just nails that feeling perfectly. If you've ever used a tool like Linear or Superhuman, you know that aha moment, right? That feeling where a process that used to be a total nightmare suddenly becomes invisible. It just works. That's what you should be demanding from your payroll system. Okay, so how do you actually find one of these autopilot systems? Well, you need a clear checklist. So let's walk through the absolute essentials that you as a founder should demand from any platform you're considering. So here it is. Number 1, demand complete compliance automation. That means filings, registrations, the whole shebang. 2, it has to handle W-2 employees and 1099 contractors in one seamless system. 3, the interface has to be built for you, the founder, not for some enterprise HR department. 4, multi-state registration has to be automatic. And finally, number 5, the platform has to proactively handle tax notices for you. Seriously, don't settle for anything less. And there's another major factor at play here. 85% of HR leaders are feeling the pressure to consolidate their tech stacks to cut down on costs and complexity. This means your payroll system can't just live on an island by itself. The best, most modern platforms bring everything, payroll, compliance, benefits, all together under one roof. And that's not just for convenience. It's a strategic move to save money and end the nightmare of trying to make 5 different systems talk to each other. All right, so let's talk about the payoff. We've gone through the risks, we've talked about the solution, but what does putting a true automation system in place actually give you back? The answer is incredibly simple. a huge amount of your time. Let me just break it down for you. Onboarding a new employee, that goes from maybe an hour of your time to less than 2 minutes. A payroll run that used to take hours, now it's done in under 15 minutes. And those quarterly tax filings, that's 5 to 10 hours of your life you just get back every single quarter because the system just does it. The difference is it's staggering. And when you add all that up, this is what you're looking at. Most founders get back 15 to 30 hours every single month. That is an absolute game changer. And while the time savings are obviously huge, let's not forget where we started, with risk. With true automation, that error rate, the thing that causes all the penalties and frustrates your team, it plummets to basically zero. So you get your time back and you get peace of mind. And this is exactly how a platform like Warp delivers on that autopilot promise. It doesn't just calculate your taxes, it automatically opens state tax accounts for you. It doesn't just tell you about a tax notice, it resolves 80% of them by dealing with the agencies directly. This is what it means to actually take work off your plate. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about payroll for just a second. Imagine someone just handed you an extra 20 hours next month, totally free and clear. What would you do with it? Would you talk to more customers? Ship that new feature you've been putting off? Maybe close your next round of funding? Because that's the real ROI here. It's not about payroll. It's about getting more time to build your actual business.